Hello, have you ever wondered what the process is for taking some of these casks that have been laid down for investment and putting that single malt into bottles? That's what we're talking about today with Russell Bradley from One Cask at a Time. Welcome to Cask to Glass, the podcast where we talk about whiskey, Scotland's national drink and the world's favourite spirit. I'm John Beattie. Russell, I know you're busy. I know you got a big launch. Thank you so much for talking to me today. How are you?
Yes, good, John. All good, thank you.
As we get started, how do you take your whiskey?
Oh, good. I don't actually have a set answer for you. To me, it very much depends on the whiskey. If I was to give you the short answer, I would just say neat on its own, but it can vary depending on the ABV.
Okay, good. Talk me through what you're going to be announcing. I think by the time we go out, you will have announced it. As I speak to you, it's embargoed. So you've got some new products. Just describe what's happening to the audience.
Yeah, this is actually good because I've been under embargo. I've not been allowed to speak to anyone, so I'm speaking to the future, which is nice. Yes, so what we are launching in 4th of September is a new independent bottler, One Cask at a Time. So as the name suggests, we only bottle single casks. We bottle everything at cask strength, natural colour, exactly as it should be, and to be perfectly honest. So yeah, I've been working on for about almost 2 years, working on the background. So it's really exciting to finally get to the time where we can share with the world.
Tell me about that. Can I just pick you up on what you said? As it should be. So just explain that. What do you mean by as it should be?
So I mean, I guess that's my personal opinion I'm giving you there, but I mean, I guess. As an independent bottler, essentially we can select from any distillery, from any region within Scotland. And what obviously the big distilleries, they all do an amazing job, but at the end of the day, they're having to come up with a product that pleases a wide audience that can be produced at scale. But the blender's job is not an easy one. But as single casks, what we are looking for is from those 50 casks that have been vatted together, if we were just going to pick one of those casks, what would it be? And for me, one of the things I'm looking for when I'm selecting a cask is, what is that like? I'll try it neat, put a few drops of water in, but it's almost just getting that absolute best of the best to showcase our brand as well as the distillery.
What have you got? You've got Chronograph, Pendulum and Grandfather. And we'll get into this, when people are listening to you and me, we'll get into this because it's digital. Each bottle's got a passport. It's as much, because I know your background, I want to talk about that later on. It's as much about getting a special product, but then also giving it a special look and appeal. Just describe the three main headings and what's behind them, what's in them.
Yeah, so the brand, essentially when I joined One Cask at a Time, it was a blank canvas to go and create the perfect brief is that there is no brief, it's go out and create a brand. Time was the theme that I was instantly drawn to from representing the whiskey inside the cask. It's such a versatile theme within there. So the whole brand is structured around that theme of time. So our 3 collections are our Chronograph collection, we have a Pendulum collection and a Grandfather. How we kind of differentiate and what you can expect from those ranges is Chronograph is aimed probably at the kind of younger consumer, almost the next generation of whiskey drinkers. We're looking to do lots of innovation within that range, whether it be interesting cask finishes, just things that you don't normally see when you walk into a whiskey specialist. Pendulum collection, we start to introduce some impressive age statements, such as our Auchentoshan 26 that we've released in there. And Grandfather, that is what I see as being the best of the best. It's the finest examples that we can find on the market, brought together under our grandfather collection. You mentioned kind of digital. One of the things for One Cask at a time is we respect the craft and the tradition, the kind of the art of time, if you want to call it, but we also look to the future. And how we do that is in our bottles. I've got one here actually. So within this neck label on the bottle, we have an NFC chip. So to put that into layman's terms, it's the same technology as Google Pay, Apple Pay. You tap your phone, it registers, and it picks up. So by tapping the smartphone on the neck of any of our bottles, you can download our app, and on there it will tell you the history of the cask details, when it was bottled, the cask type. If there's even going down to regauge data over the years, we can build all that data within there. As well as that, there's a consumer experience. So you'll have tasting notes, we've got video notes in there for our bottles, and if you register the account, you can actually log your own notes on there. So we call it our bottle passport. So essentially you've got your passport, you put your stamps in it with every bottle, you can log all your collections. It's very much in its infancy just now. I think the opportunities are huge to almost build this whisky community as we move forward, where people can actually share information, would be the plan for the future. But yeah, it's just almost that bridging tradition with technology. It's a tough industry at the moment. So you can either do what everyone else is doing, or you need to do things better, you need to do things differently and engage with consumers in a different way.
Forgive me, I've never heard of this. I've never heard of a passport maybe I should have. I've never heard of a passport on a bottle, and you can scan and get the tasting notes. Is this new, or has this been done before?
Yeah, we believe we are the first people to be doing this on whiskey. Which again is a new independent bottler. It's something that we're really, really proud of. And one of the other aspects, as well as the consumer experience, is it's almost kind of anti-counterfeit technology as well. So each of our bottles are individually numbered. So when you tap your phone on there, the first thing it will do is validate this is a genuine bottle. It's not been opened, and it will say it's a Glen Talker bottle number 15, for example. So when you tap that, if nothing happens, there could be a problem in there. It could be a refill, it could be a counterfeit, for example. But if you tap it, and it will tell you you're now the owner of this bottle. And it means you now digitally own this bottle as well as physically own it.
To me, that's really interesting. That's technology. Again, coming into your background's in the creative side, and the technology is there. And before we get on to talk about it, the look, I'm struck by looking at your press releases. You've already won awards. The look is really important, isn't it? The whiskey is as much, well, it's not as much, but whiskey is a bit about how it looks, how it feels, how it reads, how you read, how the words come across. And I've got to say, your stuff is slick. How important is the look and the feel?
Yeah, for me, you touched on my background earlier. So I originally come from a graphic design, was what I studied. I then got into the design world, into print, into packaging, which in central Scotland essentially leads you into the spirits and the whiskey world. So for me, the most important thing is the liquid. Whiskey is distilled and matured to be enjoyed, but people buy with their eyes. Particularly just now, you walk into shops, there's a lot of competition. So for me, as the new kids coming to the block, we've got the digital thing, which is new and exciting, but it's almost trying to take on the established brands of the world with our quality of our packaging. It's been excellent, because we've won an IWSC Design Award for innovation just yesterday, actually, which has been, we're tremendously proud of that. We've also been shortlisted in the London Packaging Week up against Macallan's and Bowmore's and Ardbegs, which, to be honest, is just the ultimate compliment. So if we can be recognised at that stage, for how visually appealing our packaging is. That's the nod for people to buy, to try the whiskey, and then that's where we build our brand confidence.
Russell, I know you can buy your products on the website. How much do these bottles cost?
So the range, our lowest bottle is our Ben Nevis 11-year-old, which retails at £89 on the website. We work our way through. We have a Glentalker 15-year-old at £115. Moving into the Pendulum collection, we have an Auchentoshan 26-year-old, exception cask, that is £375. Then as we go into our Grandfather collection, we have three bottles. I can now say three because by the time you read this, we have launched our third one at our launch event. We have a Highland Park 27-year-old single cask. We have an Altmore 43 and a Lichig 30-year-old. So we've tried to build the range to appeal to a wide range. And I mean, every time I say Lichig 30-year-old, people's eyes pop open. That's exactly the reaction we're hoping to get.
And how much is that one?
That is $599.
Right. Where do you plan on selling?
So at the moment, that's a really good question, and this is exactly what we are working on at the moment. We are working with various kind of online retailers, as well as kind of specialist independent retailers and some on-trade premises. We're very much building from the ground up just now. The tactic we're taking just now is we don't want to be everywhere. That might sound like a really strange thing to say, but we're single cask, we're really limited run. We can't be everywhere, as the honest truth. We're launching in the UK for just now. The future will take us elsewhere, but essentially it's what I would call a proper whiskey shop. People where the staff are very, very well trained to talk on the products. Someone walks in and says, "What do you normally like?" Like you asked me at the start, how do you normally drink your whiskey? That's what we'll sell this brand, is that conversation. It will be sampling. And obviously, particularly at the Grandfather range, it will be a different consumer that spends £89 to, say, £700. So we find that some retailers are interested in the full range, some are more the £100 bottle, and some are more interested in the top of the range. So yeah, it'll be a mix, but yeah, we're limited at the moment. But yeah, over now that we're launching this week, you should see us popping up in your favourite shops.
Just remind me again, the distilleries you bought from, the Chegg, Highland Park. Who else did you? Auchentoshan. Who else did you say?
Auchentoshan, Altmore, Ben Nevis, and Glentalkers.
I mean, it's an instant. What do you make of the whiskey market just now? It's an interesting time, and everyone I've spoken to about it says, "Well, look, like house prices, things go up, things go down, and you're as well to get into the market when there's a slump because things will get better." Is that how you view the market? It'll be up and down, and and it's all about just getting your share of the business.
Exactly, it's very much. I mean, I've been in whiskey. I was previously with William Grant and Sons for about 8-9 years. And during that time, and it's the same when I first got into the whiskey industry, which is probably 10-11 years ago now, there was a slump. There was too much liquids on the market. 12 to 18-year-old single malt was in really short demand, which drove all the non-age statements that we've seen for a period there. So I think if I can't back this up with the data, but through what I believe, it's almost like a 10-year trend. It grows. And it's the same with housing, with anything else. It has a fall and then it starts to build again. So to your point, we've come into this with our eyes open. We know it's a tough time in the market, which is, to be honest, why my brief was a blank canvas to come up with something that's going to compete in a cowdy marketplace. So yeah, I mean, we're in this for the long term. We just ride it out just now and we can only go up from here.
How do you finance this? How does that work?
So we've been very fortunate. We've got two founders of the business, Ben and Stuart. They also own an investment company, VCL Vintners, based down in London. So that's where the original idea was. They wanted casks. Ultimately, you can invest in them, you can collect them, you can do whatever you want with them, but at some point we need to be bottled. They're there to be enjoyed. So their idea many years ago was to develop a whiskey brand, bottling, for to follow that all the way through the process to consumers. So I've been very fortunate that they've basically given me everything that I've asked for, including a very nice launch event tomorrow night. So yeah, and they totally understand the market. So they know the times we know we're not going to launch the brand and sell out within 2 weeks. It would be a nice problem to have, but it's just going in with your eyes open and having that support and funding behind us.
Did they buy the casks way back when, or did you buy casks? What happened?
It's a bit of both essentially. I mean, One Cask at a time is a limited company. We are standalone from VCL. The advantage to me from VCL is they have got an amazing portfolio of casks from new make spirit all the way through to some of the oldest casks that are out there.
Yeah.
So it almost gets as investments, yeah. So I mean, not that I have free reign of those casks, but essentially what that does is it gives me access to casks that might not otherwise be on the market. So that is an avenue for us. It's not the only avenue. We've just bought another 2 casks in the last 2 weeks there. Sadly, I can't name them as yet, but those are from other brokers, other independent warehouses. We also talk direct to distilleries as well for future casks. So I mean, as an independent bottler, it literally we have the independence to buy any casks from any distillery from any person at the right price and right quality, of course.
I'm finding this a really interesting chat because it's all about getting a brand out there, a brand new brand. You've already won, as we said, you've already won some awards, not just for your design, but for the whiskey itself. Some of this whiskey, I think I'm right, has already won some awards.
Yeah, we've won our Altmore and Highland Park. Have both won IWSC awards in there and Scotch Whisky Masters. We've got a gold for the Altmore and a Masters for the Highland Park, which is the top award. But yeah, I mean, they've been very well received. We hope there's a few more to come as the year goes on.
And that market, the buying casks market, I mean, I don't know if you can say, if you want to say, how much does a cask, how much can a cask cost? Someone's selling it or someone's had it as an investment. It's gone up in value. You come in and say, I'd like to buy that cask. We can make it into some really interesting product with a digital passport and you can scan it with your phone. Can you roughly tell me how much that kind of cask would cost?
I mean, it literally is a piece of string, to be carefully honest with you. The market, I mean, as bottle prices are low at the moment, cash prices are in there. So it's a little bit of a strange time because investments, I would imagine, grow fairly steadily. You then have the 10-year blip that I spoke about earlier, and then they'll grow again. So for me personally, this is a great time to buy casks. Because it's like anything else, when property crashes, it's the best time to buy property, knowing that it's going to grow again. I'm not avoiding your question. It's a difficult one to answer. I mean, you can pick up casks of new make for a couple of £1,000. You then have to mature them as long as you want to. Aged casks, I mean, they can go into the hundreds of thousands of pounds at the very, very top end. If you're into your Macallans and your Bowmores, your Lefroy's and your kind of Highland Parks, I mean, some of these, I won't divulge how much we paid for them, but yeah, it's a lot. But again, you just need to look at the bottle prices. What is this? What can we sell it at? Sometimes it's just the right thing to do for the brand as opposed to the profit margins, to be honest, because we need to get people talking. We need to offer value for money in there. So, I mean, prices vary hugely from supplier to supplier, from distillery to distillery. And this is where relationships come in so much to it. Because if you're buying from a middleman who's buying from a middleman, then you're not going to get the best deal. So, again, a nice ally having the VCL connection in the background means we can almost shortcut that if it's the right thing to do. But ultimately, you can sample 20 casks and you might buy one or two, is the reality of it, because it just needs to be the best ones for your brand.
I was in Edinburgh the other day and in the Balmoral, in the whiskey bar. What struck me was the whiskey bar was full of American tourists. Wouldn't the ultimate aim of something like this, modern, digital, casks, cask strength, looks good, great history, isn't the future of this partly if you can get into the US market, although it's difficult, the US and Chinese markets, maybe the Indian markets, is that the next step after the UK? You said the UK.
Yeah, I mean, funny you should mention that because I was actually having a conversation on this yesterday. And three of the markets that you just mentioned, USA, India, China, out that way, is that there is huge opportunity out there for us. What we need to be is strategic and where we go. I mean, the US is an amazing market. Very difficult to get into, as you say, because each state is almost a country within itself in terms of regulations and distribution. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely one, and I've dabbled in it. Previously, I used to work for House of Hazelwood, and we were just breaking into the USA towards the end there, and the opportunity is huge because it's almost like getting into 50 countries if you wanted to go full log in there. And the fact they can take a 70 cl bottle now as well just makes that whole process a little bit simpler from an operations perspective.
Just a couple more things. How did you come up with the idea of tying the digital world in with whiskey? I know you said you had a blank canvas, but how did you come up with that idea? That sounds to me, that's blue sky thinking at its best. We think, you know what, we'll do this, we'll make this different. Where did that come from?
So basically all I was given was the name. The company had already selected the name. They'd had it for quite some time. So it was one cask at a time. There you go. So to be honest, I pretty much locked myself in my office for a few weeks. Just come up with ideas, even sketching, looking at inspiration, looking at other brands that's out there. And the first thing you go to is cask, and the cask, the wooden cask. And to be honest, it was becoming a little bit cliche. How are we going to stand out? It's just another logo with a cask on it, for example. So immediately it was the time piece, because time is arguably the most important ingredient in Scotch whisky. If you've ever had the pleasure of going to your house trips up, I'm sure you have. They're all just lying there, sleeping for decades. So that was instantly what came in there was time. And then as we got into the more detail of the brand, it was how do we further link that? So copper, for example, is prominent throughout our brand. Sorry, I'm looking to my side here. So this is one of our grandfather bottles here. The light. So it's a solid oak box to represent the cask itself. And we use the use of copper quite a lot throughout our brand to represent the copper stills. So again, it's just a way of encapsulating the whiskey from the very start of time in the copper to the decades that follow in the oak. And to be honest, it was just that this is why I accepted the job. This was the appeal to just go out there, you've got a free reign. Need to check in with the bosses from time to time, but to be honest, I've been so supportive all through.
Russell, it's been good to talk to you. Thank you. And so the plan from now, and obviously I'm talking to you before the launch. You've got bottles ranging from 70, 80 quid to several £100, way up to maybe £1,000-ish. You're in the market to buy more barrels. You've got some barrels. You've got a brand. You've got digital. What's the plan? What's the next step?
So the next step, we're working on some kind of further innovation ideas, further use of kind of digital experiences. You'll notice I'm being quite vague at the moment because this.
You are being very vague.
Yes, so we're looking to take that to the next level. I'm being vague because I'm not sure this is going to be publicly announced before this goes out. But I would say keep following us on socials. Over the next few weeks, you'll see some further exciting innovations. And I mean, to be honest, one of our main advantages as an independent bottler is what I do. We can be fast to market. Yes, we'll have a 5-year plan like everyone else has, but the best ideas, to be honest, we don't know what they are yet. It might come tomorrow, it might come next week, and we've built the brand in a way that we can be agile within, to be honest, probably if we really had to, within 3 or 4 weeks, we could bring a new cask to market if it was the right cask and the right thing. But yeah, more to come on that.
Russell, good to talk to you and good luck. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
We're never going home. We're never going home. Can we stay with you in Scotland for the rest of our lives? We're never going home. Never going home. All it took was one sip of the water